kinds of featured shows on this app. So if you're looking to host one, be on one, great reasons to be on a show. It's a featured show, right? So we're number one in the spot. We're going to get the most views that hour, right? So you might as well go ahead and get on them, get the views, let people see who you are, get on there and be your goofy, silly selves. Okay, rules real quick. When the guests are in the box, as a host, we are to treat it almost, I guess, as if like it's a podcast, right? So it's us talking. I will interact with the comments if it is related to the topic, okay? But if you're trying to ask me, how's my weekend, or, you want to go out with me, which I'm going to tell you no anyways, because if I don't know you, I'm not wasting my time. So hang out for a little bit, right? Get to know a chica over here, but be positive. Absolutely zero negativity will be tolerated. I really don't tolerate any negativity at all, but especially for this hour. And I don't unblock you. So once you're blocked, you're done. Sorry. Have a good life. What am I missing, guys? Stay positive. I think that's it. All right. So now we're going to do my Q&Q. I know I seen one guest. I'm not sure if I seen the other. Comments went pretty fast there for a minute. Okay. All right, we'll get it figured out. We'll get it figured out. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. All right, we're gonna do the Q&Q. Okay. I think that anyone who's pushed to do the very best they can is privileged. It's a luxury. Do you agree or disagree first? I think that anyone who's pushed to do the very best they can is privileged. It's a luxury. I don't think people, in my opinion, okay? In my opinion, and they say when, that assume situation, right? But in my opinion, if you have the ability or you have somebody in your life that sees your potential and pushes you, or you even feel your potential, or you want to be better and you push yourself every day to do better, you're one in very few. I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the population has absolutely no idea what they are actually capable of. There has been quite a few circumstances, situations, whatever in my life where I had no idea what I was capable of. In an emergency, I had no idea that I was able to lift certain things, right? Like your kid falls, gets hurt, you lift things up that, super strength, as they'd call it. In a case, kid gets hurt, you're able to be there, stop the bleeding, and not as a nurse. If you push yourself to be better at some sporting event or at certain game, be it chess, or for some of you video gamers, you guys, some of y'all, I don't even know. I don't even know how y'all do it. I can't barely get my guy to go in the direction that I want him to go, right? Let alone master some jump, kick, move, shoot the gun, hit stuff, you bing, bang, bang. I can't do it, right? Now you put me outside in the real world, I'll build you a house, but I can't play Call of Duty. It's cool though, but we all have different abilities. Now, if I was to sit down, I'm sure that I could better myself, right? I'm sure that I could up my game, as they would call it. But I sit, I don't like to sit. I'm a go person. All right, so I will now repeat that one more time. For those of you guys just tuning in, I'm Silly Lily. This is Lessons Learned, and we are going over the Q&Q. And the Q&Q is a quote and a question. And the quote was, I think that anyone who's pushed to do the very best they can is privileged. It's a luxury. Who pushed you to do your best? Who pushed you to do your best? Sports coaches, parents, kids, sisters. I don't push T. This is not a. Well, all right. So maybe in the streaming world of things, I helped you come out of your shell. At least I hope, right? Yourself, yeah. Thank you for the faves, guys. Thank you for the gifts. Yeah, and that's another thing is we're not supposed to like acknowledge the gifts as they come onto the screen during the show. So if you've ever been in a featured show and your gift was not acknowledged, please understand that we will throw out every once in a while a random, hey guys, thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for the favorites. Really do appreciate it. But we're not supposed to acknowledge, like, even if Coach down there was like to send me the most, a wheel and I hit a dragon, I'm supposed to ignore that. I'm supposed to just keep talking, and then Jorah and White Lion down there, they both hit me with the fave. I'm supposed to just carry into my regular conversation as if that didn't happen. So you guys will see me do this a lot. I wink, and I know I look stupid when I wink, but man, it's all I got when the people are in the box talking. So just a couple rules. Are you ready to get in the box, ma'am? And get this going? All right, here we go. Hello. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so glad you're feeling better. We missed you last week.
Last week was rough. I was like, I can push through it. I can do it. I can do it. And I was like, no, I can't.
I was like, girl, drink some water, put a heating pad on. It's all good. Life goes on.
It would have been the worst show ever. I'd have been constantly running. Oh, it was bad. But yeah, we are on the up and up. So, yes, thank you for your patience, and thank you for freeing up your second Friday in a row for me. She was supposed to be on last week, guys, and because of the cancellation, she kept this Friday open for us as well. So, I guess let's dive in. What is it that we are going to be talking about today?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the lesson that I've learned. I mean, of course, I've learned many lessons in my life, but the main one that I keep learning is that you're not too much. They're just not enough for you.
Yeah.
And it's really like a lesson of self-worth, like people who make you feel like you're too much or too sensitive or too whatever. They're just the ones who can't meet you where you are. So stay where you are, keep rising, and you'll find your people. And I've had to learn that the easy way and the hard way, more often the hard way in my life. Basically, the first lesson I learned of that was I did what I was told, like leads to success. I went to school, I got a degree in engineering, and I worked on Wall Street for almost 10 years. And supposedly I had reached the pinnacle of career, the pinnacle of life by the time I was 17 years old. That was when I first got my internship on Wall Street. And I worked there all throughout college, and I'm kind of like, it fed my ego for a bit, right? Because everyone's all impressed. Wow, you got this really good job. You're making really good money. You got a 401k popping. Like, okay, girl. But by the time I was like out of college and a few years out of college, 21, 22, I'm like y'all know we're told we're going to retire when we're 60, and then it turned into 65, and now it's like 67 or something. And to a 22-year-old, it's like, that's 40 years. And I was literally sitting there in my cubicle just looking around like, is it this is it? This was the pinnacle of success that I was promised. And of course, like, my personality, I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer. I like to wear bright clothes. It was just like too much. And I kept getting told constantly that I was too much, to tone it down, to tone it down. So at the time when I was still working there, I called it my other 9 to 5, where I was a full-time competitive dancer. And so I let it all out there. I was able to be as much as I needed to be on stage, but it got pretty tiring, right? Going working on Wall Street, and then literally right after work, going straight to the studio to rehearsal, and then all weekend competitions. And there came a point where I was like, you know what? Screw this. And I don't know if anyone, or if you, Lily, or anyone in the chat has seen the Disney movie Soul. No spoilers, but there is a moment where there's literally a guy working in finance, looking for a guy in finance. And he's like dead inside.
Yeah.
And he has this humpback, and he's like looking at his spreadsheet, and his soul just drops back into his body. And he was like, what? This isn't all there is, everyone. Go live your dreams. And I swear to you, I had that moment. I was sitting at my desk, poring over some spreadsheet, my eyebrows wrinkling over some Excel macros or whatever I was doing for some financial analysis. And I was like, wait, this can't be the rest of my life. This literally can't be the rest of my life. And I spent some of my free time, going to networking events. At the time, there weren't really podcasts or YouTube channels, if I may age myself. So I was taking people, I was taking people out to lunch and meeting like entrepreneurs and artists and creatives, living in New York, and going to all these different kinds of events. And I was like, what's your life like? What's your life like? And really opening my mind to a whole other opportunity. So in 2011, I said, forget this. I'm out of here, which I kind of don't recommend because I didn't really have a backup plan. I did have some savings, and I literally just quit. I moved to Los Angeles. I started working this job in YouTube, and I became a YouTube video producer for dancers. And so even though that wasn't like my dream job, it got me closer. So that's like another part of my lesson where it's like, just make that pivot that you need to, even if it's like a small one, because at the same time, I actually got a job opportunity to work in sales in the private bank, which is like, if anyone's ever been in banking or finance, it's like, ooh, front office, private bank. And I got the YouTube job at the same time. So it was literally like this crossroads. And I was like, stressing about this decision for weeks, like talking to friends and family and just pros and cons lists and everything. And then my soul dropped into my body once again. And it was like, which one's going to actually get you closer to where you want to go? And it was like, if I take the other Wall Street job, I already know what that's going to give me, even though the YouTube job was basically making like half or less than half of what I was making on Wall Street. So I was kind of like, but it was like, it's YouTube. Back then, YouTube was just kind of starting to blow up, but it was blowing up already. And it was creative. It was with dancers. I'm a dancer. I'm an entertainer. And then I know where it was going to make me more money, but it was going to be the same thing. Pouring over a spreadsheet, PowerPoint document. So I took the risk, and family members were very much not about it. I had 70 missed calls from family members like, you should and remember, this is 2011. So like only 2 years after 2008 housing crash, bubble burst, and all of that. So everyone's telling me this is not the safe thing to do. You should be happy you have a job. And I'm like, I'm not happy. My alarm clock goes off at 5 a.m. every day, and I'd rather die. That's no life to live, okay? So I took the leap of faith. I put everything in my car, drove across the country, moved to Los Angeles, worked this YouTube job, ended up getting to travel the world to produce really awesome content for some famous dancers who I looked up to. And that just led me on a path and today, fast forward, this was many years ago now, many pivots, many twists and turns, similar. But now I'm a full-time content creator and entrepreneur. This is what I do for my life. And looking back, it's literally like, of course I would have left, even though it was super risky and like the dumb thing to do. Because my work is online, I can basically live wherever I want. If I want to live in Ohio for a couple of weeks, I can go do that. If I want to,
don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that, but if I wanted to, I could. So yeah, that's my lesson. You're not too much. Just follow who you are. make those little choices. You know, I really don't recommend being as risky as I was. I did struggle a lot at a lot of times. You know, being a full-time content creator, entrepreneur, making your own money. Like if you don't work, the money doesn't come in. It's not easy at all. For me, it's worth it because it's about who I am. And, you know, being on this app, being the content creator, like it's my own channel, it's my own stuff. So I'm not too much. I'm exactly just right. And I've lost a lot of friends along the way. There's been a lot of betrayals along the way, but I've also met the right people who are most aligned with me because I'm being myself. I'm being too much. And there's people who hate me for it, and that's okay. But there's people who really love me for it, and that's even better. So
I
that's my lesson for today.
So you make me think of two of my sayings all the time. The first one is, you know, I will never dim my light if you think I'm too bright. You can just poof be gone, because so many times in my life I was quieted to the corner, right? And I was, you know, lessoned because I was too crazy, I was too wild. I had a lot of energy, man. Like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm 8. You know what I mean?
What do you want
I'm
me to
8 and I am wound up. Like, I did gymnastics. My mom tried to keep me busy, but I had a lot of freaking energy as a kid. So like, I was my whole life, shh, sit down, quiet, shh, you know, God, sit down, go sit down. And so I eventually became the sit down child. I eventually became the wallflower. I lost that for a really long time because it was shushed out of me, you know. And for years, I just will stick with the wallflower. I was a wallflower. I was there. I was present. I was aware. But I became too afraid to do something to upset somebody. I became too afraid to, you know, embarrass my family. I became too too afraid to do any of it, to where I stopped doing everything.
Yeah.
And it took me, like I said, a really long time to come out of that. But somewhere along the way,
your soul dropped back into your body.
and I was like, I want to be me. You know, and honestly, streaming is what showed me I could 100% be myself at any moment in time, and people liked me. They kept coming back. And all I did was be my goofy, loud, obnoxious self, and they kept coming back. And then I was like, you know what? This is nice. And streaming helped me. And now, you know, yeah, I'm myself in real life, and for most people I probably am a lot. I am. But that's because I don't have that sugarcoat thing, you know, where people can like make things smooth and process. Like if I'm doing something, if I want something, I am full blown all in right now. Here we go. And if I feel you're doing something stupid that puts others at risk, or like if you're doing something, you know, whatever, I'm not going to yell at you for what you eat or whatever, you know, if you're doing something, you know, and you're endangering others, I'm not just going to sit there and watch you and quietly judge you. I'm going to be the first person to tell you you're an idiot. A lot of people, and I'm serious, a lot of people I've lost because they don't want to grow up. They don't want to change. They don't want to do the right things.
And they can't handle the realness.
So in me becoming myself, it allowed me to let go of all of the people pretending as well. Right? Because at that point, we weren't pretending together. I was just seeing what I looked like for once. For the first time, I was like, whoa. And that for me was like, okay, you know what? I'd rather have two good friends who like my crazy self for my crazy self than whatever that group is over there. Because they don't know me. I don't really know them. We're all just trying to fake till you make it. And yeah, that saying's funny sometimes, and you know, I'll say it, whatever. But ain't none of us gonna make it if we fake it. You know, you might fake the smile or little parts, but to fake life, to fake who you are or what you're about, is you're not going anywhere.
And at the end of the day, like, you have to be happy with yourself because, like, you're with yourself 24/7.
Mhm.
You know, you can fake it all day and put on the fake smile and be the wallflower because that's what most people want you to be.
Yeah.
But then at night, like, even if you have a partner and you're sleeping next to someone, you're still, like, with yourself on your side of the bed that night.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was really what pushed me to leave Wall Street, and that's what continues to push me to keep being myself. And to be honest, I found you on the I'm actually pretty new on this app. This is my 3rd week, and I found you and I saw your show and you were your loud, goofy, self. And I was like, that's my people. And that's what I mean. It's like you can attract people and get friends by not
Mhm.
being yourself, but they're going to be friends with the you're not self. So
Mhm.
I'd rather have people be friends with the full me.
Yeah.
And it does hurt a lot sometimes when some people drop away because of that. Like, I'm not going to lie and say that it doesn't suck, but in the long term, like the people who are around, and like shout out to my 2 friends, right? Who can actually handle all of me. And even in dating and relationships, that's I bring that mentality to that as well. I'll be on a date sometimes and a guy will be like, oh, well, you're pretty confident. And it's like, you might as well add the little lady at the end of that. And I'm just like, if
I
I'm too much, go find less.
I
Like,
always ask, what makes me that confident?
and I'm sorry, it's
And
bad for me to be.
and you want to know what I get most of the time? Well, you're just so happy. I'm sorry. So because I'm
Like,
happy, I'm too confident? Well, I mean, and I'm like, my outfit's from Walmart or Target. Look, I didn't even make sure my bra gets covered up. Like, I don't have a style, right? Like, my shoes at most cost $20. Again, Walmart, thrift stores. Like, what makes me overconfident? What And well, you're loud, okay? That doesn't make me confident. I'm still waiting. And you guys, it's got nothing to do with us being overconfident or too much. It has everything to do with their lack of confidence in themselves. They see in you. They see in you what they wish they had in themselves, but they're too lazy to get there.
And they'd rather blame you for not pretending like they are. Like, people will be mad at you for being authentic, except for others who are being authentic. They will see that, they will recognize it, they will appreciate it. And people will vilify you, they'll project all of their stuff onto you. And it's just kind of like, I'm just like Homer Simpson. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't need that negativity in my life.
Right,
Maybe in my
right.
20s, I used to like, having a lot of friends meant more to me. But now I love have my 2 friends and we're going to have a great time.
I
Yeah.
I just I the this here this leads me to the second saying that I say all the time. And I remind my daughter of this regularly, even when she's not having friendship issues or people move away. But I make sure that because for teenagers, losing friends, it feels like it's the end of the world,
Yeah.
right?
It
When your
feels like
best
death,
friend moves away
literally.
or whatever. Like when you're young, that's so, and I say, people in your life are like different parts of the tree, right?
Mm,
And most people are like leaves, right? They're here, they come, they do their job, they're beautiful, but they're only here for a season and
yeah.
then they're gone. And then you get a good chunk of people who are like, the limbs, right? Strong, sturdy for a while, but eventually even
Yeah.
that breaks, right?
You need to prune those too.
Yeah, and
When
sometimes
it
you
gets too
gotta
much.
take care of what you got real close. Eliminate some of that. But very few people are going to enter your life and be your roots, right? That's for me, my roots are my family. I don't have, unfortunately, because of a life I picked of being a people pleaser, hide behind the wall, I picked a lot of people who are still not able to look themselves in the mirror and be happy. To put it in like a nice way, they're still doing a lot of things that at our age, especially, you shouldn't be doing, and I don't want to be around it. So I don't associate myself with them, and I miss a lot of them. I've lost a lot of them, and it still hurts, even though I haven't seen a lot of them in 10 years now. But they were they were the group I thought were my roots. Like, I thought these were going to be my lifelong forevers. And, you know, I have my kids, my family, those are my roots. And I, at this point, wouldn't change it for anything, realistically. I'm glad that I was able to find and realize where my roots are. Because I think for a long time, I didn't know who my roots were, right? Like, I didn't know where to go in that crazy, and I didn't know who accepted me because, you know, I went through the people pleasing thing. But then I was like, you idiot. Your mom's still there, grandma, your kids, like, and well, maybe my kids are stuck with me. I know they love me. I know my daughter loves me, at least.
And it really hurts when, like, you think a leaf is a root, and then when it only lasts a season, it really does suck. But yeah, like I said, you know, it's not that it doesn't hurt, but in the long run, over time, those roots really hold you down. That's what they are, a root. It reminds me too, there's 3 different categories of people, and you got to recognize who those are. And it's kind of like the tree, limb, roots thing, where the roots, those are the people who are for you, like the people who are for Silly Lily, the people who are for Mia as a person. And we confuse them with, there's a second category where it's people who are for what you are for. So then you think they're for you just because you're both for the same thing. So this is like social justice, you know, oh, we're both for the same cause. So now we're really good friends. But it's like, no, we only came together because we were for the same cause, not because we were for each other. And then the third category is a little bit farther away, where it's, we are against what you are against. So you see, it's like a little bit further away than that. And I have confused a lot of people just because we had the same interests, the same hobbies for what I am for, or because we were against the same things, you know, like misogyny or whatever. That didn't mean that they were for me, the person. And that can be the hardest lesson sometimes, because that's how I get surprised, you know, when people act, I think, out of character. But when I really think about it, I'm like, oh, we were only friends because we were either for the same thing or against the same thing, but we were never for each other.
Right.
And I think that's where, like, your mom, your grandmother, your kid, you know, you're bringing up comes in. And like, for me, when I think about who those people are, it's definitely like no more than a handful. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people, and they take their roots for granted too, you know, like, I know I did for a really long time, but it's, you know, life is we're guaranteed a few things in life. I always said realistically 3 things: birth, death, and change. Because, you know, you're born, you're gonna die, we're all gonna die. And in the middle, God knows what's gonna happen.
We never know. We literally never know.
And yeah, and taxes. But it is a journey, and we can either live somebody else's dream, somebody else's reality, right? We could try to please those around us, or hear me out, guys. Are you ready? We can please ourselves. We could take care of ourselves. We could do what makes us happy. And if other people don't like it, you know,
like, bye, leaves. See you next season or never.
You know what? You guys didn't like this. That's okay. Next season, this tree right here is gonna have a whole bunch of new leaves around me. And I'm gonna have some new limbs, right? And those limbs might get stronger, and some of them might even become roots. We don't know. But the only thing that I know I've had to learn is my thing I don't like the most, and that's change. I hate change. I become very comfortable when things are going well. But I also know when things start to go well, and I don't mean like, you know, like if my job is going well, I'm going to get fired, but I know something's about to happen, right? Because you guys know nothing ever is just smooth.
It goes in cycles, yeah.
It's always, if it's not doing this, if it's not doing this often enough, I get scared, because then it's like, boom, boom, boom. You're like doosh, 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 getting knocked all around with life over here. So yeah, I think that it just, it changed. Change is hard, guys, but we've got to learn to accept and deal with that too.
Yeah.
And sometimes the change you need is simply looking in the mirror and making decisions that make yourself happy.
And don't be afraid if you have to uproot yourself and plant yourself somewhere else.
Ew, why did you make it so personal now? We were doing so good.
I know, I'm sorry. I just lost Lily, y'all. I just lost her.
See, and that's where I'm struggling because I don't like it here. I don't want to stay here. I want to be near a beach. But right now I take care of my grandma, and my kid's almost done with high school. So I got a little over 4 years, and she'll graduate. And I done told her, like, you know, if you want to stay here or go to college, I'll help you. We'll figure it out. It is what it is. But I am going. You can come with me. There will always be a room for you. But when you are done with high school, unless I'm still taking care of grandma, I'm out. Like,
you're on your own, sister.
Yeah, and so much of me is just like, just go, just do what you want to do. But then I'm like, okay, grandma's 94. I don't know how much time she's got left. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to, take care of her like she did for me for so long, because she is my strongest root. But that part for me is going to be my hardest next step, is repositioning myself to a place where it doesn't hurt. It hurts to breathe in the winter. My body, the arthritis, and the older
I ended up in LA, because I was like, I went from New York, right? And I was literally like, I love the beach. Like, why do I live in a place where I can't be at the beach every day? Mm-hmm. But I value what you're doing. You know, your strongest root. She's been there for you. Honestly, quality time is my top love language. So I honor that. And if I was in your position, I wouldn't uproot either.
Not right now. Now, and I look back, I'm like, oh, you should have moved at this time, and you should have done that, and you should have done this. But I mean, we really don't know what our life. I have all these what ifs, but I do know that I'm not going to have as many what ifs from my mid 40s up. Right. I'm not, if I want to go somewhere, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to break my bank account or go into massive debt trying to travel and do things or moving myself to where I want to be. But I definitely feel like taking little steps, moving a little closer to a place that I like. I mean, I've got my family here, but they can come visit me. I can come back and visit them. People move all the time. Just because I've never really done it doesn't mean it's not a common thing. And,
to be honest, I recommend everyone live somewhere else, at least for like a year. I learned so much about myself that I would have never learned if I stayed in New York the whole time. And then when I would come back to visit, I could see how much I've grown and all of that. And so you'll know the right timing. It's, it's your journey, and everyone here, right? You have your own journey, and there'll always be those pivot moments, and you don't have to make the drastic pivot like I did. Like I said, don't recommend really, or recommend if that's your thing. I'm kind of a risky person, but you could make like a little pivot, and even just like that 1 inch will completely change the trajectory of your life.
And the one thing that I'm learning, and it sounds silly, but what you speak will become an existing. It will come into an existence. Yes, that's the better way to say it. Sorry, that didn't sound like proper. And what I mean by this, guys, is, and just a simple fact, right? I take care of my grandma, and so in order to do that, I still also have to work. I had to find a night job, so I'm the server. I make pretty decent money, believe it or not, doing what I do. So I do this part-time, covers the bills and a little bit more. But if I go into work and I'm already, this is going to be a crappy night. Oh God, I can feel it. This isn't going to go. It doesn't go well because I've already convinced myself. So now I'm looking for the problems rather than trying to fix them when they come up. Right. So you really have to talk positive, manifesting sounds so unreal though. Everyone's like, manifesting is stupid. And honestly, I don't manifest. I just speak what I want to happen because, and I know that's just my opinion, guys, my opinion. It's called all different things. It's just when I say manifesting, it sounds fake, right?
It doesn't suit you. The word doesn't suit you. That's fine. Yeah.
I don't know. And I know it's stupid because it's the same thing, just different words, right? But I speak positivity breeds positivity and negativity breeds negativity. And if you are going to get anywhere in life, the first thing you need to do is believe in yourself. And you can't do that when you're putting yourself down. You can't do that when you're talking negative about yourself or people that you surround yourself with, right? Because you are no better than your weakest link, period.
Words are wands, and that's why they call it spelling.
Ooh, I never heard that before. Words are wands, and that's. Ooh, I got a new quote. Thanks.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you can say words are wands. That's why they call it spelling.
I like that. I like that.
Get it on a t-shirt,
right? Yeah, you should. But it's we have to remember that what we say, how we portray ourselves, and what we think of ourselves is ultimately what's going to come forward, to manifest. There you go. Okay, I said it. But when you're talking negative, you're going to breed more negativity, right?
Yeah. And negative thoughts, actually, they've done research and science on this with the neurons or whatever. Negative thoughts attract, like, I don't know how much more, but like 10 times more negativity than positive ones. That's why for every negative thought, you should have like 5 to 12 positive thoughts. And that also works in relationships too. Like for every like criticism you give a friend or a partner, you should give them like 5 times at least more positive things, because negativity actually is a lot more magnetic in our brain. So what you're saying, what Lily's saying, you really have to do that. Otherwise, like you said, if you say it's going to be a crappy day, well, it's going to be a crappy day. If you say it's going to be a great day, well, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah. Like, this is the one thing I get on every week, and it sounds silly, but I'm so excited for my show every week. And I say, no matter what happens, we're going to get through it. We'll figure it out. And every week it works out one way or the other, right? Why can't I do that going into work every day? Because
I mean, some terrain is rockier than others, right? Like, I don't want a toxic positivity this and being like, yeah, just say life is great. Like, stuff will happen, and like some terrain is harder than others.
Yeah, definitely. Doctor and work. So I don't know that you can measure manifesting, and I don't know that I don't know much about any of that. What I know is if you stay positive about yourself and you work towards being a better version of yourself every day, and you work to improve your knowledge and whatever it is you're doing, that you're going to continue to learn, you're going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to be better. What I also know is if you sit there on the couch and you talk about I hate my job, I can't cook, I don't have any money, but I only work one job part-time, and
I'm single.
I don't know how to do my laundry. That's all you're gonna do. Now, if you're like, I don't know how to do laundry, but there's YouTube. I got Google. My neighbor, hey, neighbor across the hall, can you show me how to use the washing? You have to be about it. You have to be willing to take the steps and be positive in the interactions that it takes to get you to where you want to be. But you can't just sit there and be negative and boo-hoo wah-hey yourself through the day. You're not going to learn anything from that. That is, in my opinion, a negative behavior, negative self-talk, right? Yeah. Whereas if you're willing to go, you know what, this sucks. I grew up and I didn't learn squat because I was selfish or whatever, right? Like, but now it's time for me to grow up. So you can either be about it or it can be about you. You just, I don't know how to phrase the negative part of that, but you can either take the bull by its horns and own that day and figure it out, or you can do nothing.
Yeah. And you actually modeled something really beautifully, like something that always gets me out of any rut or stuckness is staying curious and asking questions, right? So what you just modeled was, oh, my life sucks, I don't know how to do the laundry. Like, that's making a statement versus, how can I learn how to do the laundry? Who can I ask? And then asking the question. Questions always open up possibility, where statements shrink it and leave you stagnant. So even in my most depressing modes, I'm like, how can I get up today?
Mm-hmm.
Can I at least wash my face? And I'm talking about those like super depressed times. Can I at least put my feet on the floor? Okay, yes, I can do that. And before I know it, it's one foot in front of the other, you know? And like even now, like I'm in a positive mood right now, but I don't do that toxic positivity thing where it's like, just do it. Like sometimes life is really hard. Sometimes you just need those baby steps, right? Like for me, getting out of bed and washing my face and brushing my teeth is a win. I'll take that win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, you guys got to understand too, something as simple as, you know, learning to make a new dish, or learning to do laundry when you really don't know how, or, you know, learning to vacuum. Like, all of them are baby steps towards becoming better. You know, a better person, a better companion, a better parent, you know, whatever. But we all have to remember that we all have so much left to learn in life. And if you're not learning stuff on the daily, are you pushing yourself enough? Because I've been feeling pretty stagnant, right? Which is why I know that I think I need something new as far as my work goes. I'm not happy where I'm at all anymore. So it's like, again, but change. I'm comfortable. I know the bills get paid here, but it's unfair treatment, it's manipulation, it's lack of strong management, it's lack of communication, it's lack of a lot of things. But it's never a problem until it's me, not them. And I don't like that. You need to take accountability, right? Like if you screwed up, own it. When I screw up, I own it.
Yeah.
I hate apologizing. I hate saying I'm sorry. I hate having to come to any human and be like, I was wrong. I don't like it. So I really try not to be wrong when I talk, because when I'm wrong, I nine times out of 10 I hurt somebody, right? And I don't like hurting people. I know what it feels like to be accused of doing something you didn't do. I know what it feels like to, you know, thank you, Jesus, Louise. Long enough, y'all. I was like,
Yeah, that
you
was
and I kept looking down, and our eyes were both like, Jesus. I could see. We're like, what is he talking about? It doesn't even make sense. We're both so confused.
I was just like, we're gonna keep rolling. Because that leaf will fall eventually. Just to bring it back to the tree metaphor.
Oh my God. Hello.
Everyone was wondering. We were all waiting.
I kept thinking if I like looked hard enough.
Like, can I swipe left on this? Oh my goodness.
Oh, tolerance is a big thing, guys. We have to remember not everybody's as awesome as we are. Patience is key.
And don't people please anymore.
Yeah, people pleasing is, I mean, I still sometimes, you know, like there's a level. I guess there's the accepted level, and then there's the where you put yourself behind others. That's not that,
like,
right?
you pick your battles, right? Like, am I really gonna advocate for myself in this moment to like stand up for myself, or like, all right, you can have it. You know what I mean? Like, you pick your battles. That was something that I had to learn, because I've got warrior rebel energy, and a lot of how I even felt like I mattered was by being right. You know, I was very neglected growing up. My siblings were much older. My mom was a single mom raising 5 kids, so there wasn't a lot of attention. I got attention by overachieving in school and being right in school. And so I held on to that for a really long time. And as I got older, I'm like, this is creating a lot of tension in my body. Like, I don't really like that. So I'm a lot more go with the flow. And like, pick your battles, like, you don't need to attend every fight you're invited to, and
It's
pick
like
your
raising a
battles.
teenager. It's like raising a
Yeah.
teenager. You
I'm raising myself right now.
have to pick your battles, because if you don't, you're never gonna stop.
Yeah, no, literally. And I will be bleeding and fall on my own sword at some point, which I don't want to do that. I'm trying to have peace in my life. I don't know about y'all.
I think that I finally found the inner peace. Like, there's things I have to change, right? And I know, like, my job, I know that, right? But I am finally become comfortable alone in my own skin and as I am, right? Yes, I'd like to get a little bit more back in shape, just mostly because my back hurts a lot. But shout out to Crocs work shoes. Guys, if you're on your feet all day, I know they are ugly. I know that Crocs are the ugliest.
I know they're ugly, but they're so good.
They're so comfortable. I can't believe I wasted
Can we
so
make a
many
hot
years
Croc?
not wearing them. Okay. But my back does hurt a lot less of those, but I do know that if I get my core toned better, that my back will hurt less. Those are things that I've worked with for years now with my problems. But there's changes. But like I said, I don't feel that I need somebody else in my life. And I think that makes me people think that's scary. Like, what do you mean you don't need somebody? I don't need anybody. I've finally accepted and proven to myself that I can make it without any assistance. So now I'm at a point in my life where if you're going to enter it,
you better come correct.
One platinum package, baby, because I'm going to learn something from you. I am only looking for people to enter my life that can teach me things, right?
Yeah.
I don't need money. Mm-hmm. If you're rich, it'll be nice.
I'm not going to say no to it.
But I will tell you that until my kids' college stuff is paid off or whatever, that I'm going to be broke. I'm broke. I pay my bills. I pay my way. I'm buy my own food, right? But I don't have fancy money. I don't have money to buy fancy clothes. So if you want me to go to a fancy restaurant, just know now I don't own a dress or shoes for it.
So you're going to need to get the dress and the shoes.
You're going to have to buy the dress and the shoes to make me fancy, or we can go to the barbecue joint down the street and I'll probably be happier there because I don't have to be fancy. I'm not a fancy person, right? So
well, that, I mean, there you go. Like, more about being yourself and being exactly who you are, and the right people will come in. Like, if someone can't hang with you at the barbecue joint down the street, then maybe they're not for you. Too.
You can't sit there and eat ribs with your fingers with me in the middle of a restaurant
and lick them.
I'm not going to go and figure out which fork and spoon I'm supposed to use per dish, because I'm going to tell you, I ain't never had to do that. And I don't know what red and wine and white wine, I don't know the glasses. And you know what? If you can't be some finger licking good rib eating mother trucker, I'm not going to be your little fancy pants McGee, because now I'll adapt. We can compromise, right? But you can't turn me into a fancy pants McGee, because it's a lot of work and I don't even know how to do my makeup or my hair.
It's a lot of work too to try to change somebody. I've learned that the hard way too in relationships. It's like, I'm learning who I am still every day. I know a lot more today than I did 20 years ago. And I want to be with people who know who they are. And I want us all to be ourselves. That's kind of my main thing, be yourself, be unapologetically yourself. I'm learning how to do that. We're all learning how to do that. I'd rather get to know you exactly as you are than like some sort of pretend thing. And I love that. Doggo wanted to join the... Like, I'm being myself.
Yeah, loud and obnoxious and fuzzy.
So cute though. Oh,
he is
like a little wolf cub.
He is sometimes. I called him over because there's somebody walking in and he was about to start barking like crazy. So
Life is
you
extreme.
were very good. He was actually really good for this show, for this hour.
He was listening. He was like, I've been people pleasing too in my life. I've had to learn to let go of the leaves, but you're my root.
He had to learn to let go of 6 teeth. That's what he had to let go of. $1,500. Ugh, animals. But
oh.
All right. So that was great. We went the full hour here. But
thank you all for hanging with us.
Thank you. You were amazing. Great topics. We were kind of all over the place, but that was awesome. Definitely look forward to having you back on the show at some point. But before I let you go, do you have any other shows or events you've got going on, and when do you stream, and what are your streams like?
Yeah, thank you. My streams are, I do meditations in the morning, talk about spirituality and positivity and start your day right and all that woo-woo stuff. I usually will do my skincare during that point. So sometimes like y'all can join with me. That's one side of me. And then at night, it's Mia After Dark. So it's a little bit demon time, spicy questions, but we actually get pretty deep and have a lot of real talk about dating and relationships and the stuff that we've been through. I like to be on different shows. So shows coming up on Sunday, I'll be on Make a Match. And on Monday night, I'll be on Cinema Score. I do post my schedule. I take my content creation very seriously. So if y'all are feeling the vibe, I post on Instagram all the time. And my Instagram is linked in my bio at Mia Streams Live. And I like to chat with people. Like, I'm here for connection. Quality time is my love language. So DM me, throw a like, I'll hit you back, and it'll be a good time. And thank you so much for having me. Such a great show. Like I said, I caught your show like my first week on the app, and I was like, this is great. So thank you. And I would love to come back. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing that you dove deep into it, because I know I would like to learn more, but I not knowing the path to take, it deters me. I'm not saying that I have the ability to be like a full-time, right? But I want a podcast. I really want to do podcasts, but I have no idea how to even start.
You'd be so great.
You know, I would love to take it onto the YouTube, you know, do the podcast on the YouTube, but I don't even know where to start for any of it. So maybe I'll have to come pick your brain a little bit on your journey and ask some more questions on that at another time. But
absolutely, for sure. And you have a great foundation, because you're amazing on camera, you're amazing as a host, you're amazing as here. And translating that will, like, every platform is different and it is a lot of work. And I would just say, like, baby steps, one thing at a time. Like, I am where I am today because I've stacked things over time. You know, people look at my Instagram and my career and they're like, oh my God, you do so much. And I'm like, I literally did like one thing at a time and I added on. So another life lesson there. But thank you so much, everybody.
Back, because I feel like you and I could talk about all these different things for like days, not even hours, days. Like,
and I have ADHD, so like if you go squirrel, I'll go squirrel with you. I'll be like, all right,
it goes crazy.
Absolutely. Thank you all for the gifts.
Thank you so much. Have the best day, darling. I so appreciate you. Thank you. You guys make sure she's favorited, please.
Feel better.
Thank you. That was awesome. That was such an awesome show. Man, she sucker punched me a few times, though, right in my gut. She says, you're stuck. You shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be afraid to uproot yourself. And I went, doosh, right in my gut. Ugh. Yeah, that's always been my fear, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I say I learned something from everybody, you know, and I know sometimes it's a timing situation and whatnot, but hearing that definitely makes me need to explore, right? I need to see more. Maybe I just haven't actually, maybe I haven't moved because I haven't figured out really where I'm going yet or whatever, right? But in order to see more, you got to travel. So maybe that's just what is going to be my goal for the next couple years, is pick a different state. Right? Now, sometimes we need a good old sucker punch, theoretically, not actually physically, that hurts. But sometimes, you hear something, and when it catches you, or if it makes you feel some kind of way, it's because you're ready to grow. You know it inside, right? It's time. I don't suggest, I still want to come see you. You're in Nebraska. So at some point I got to try to find my way there, or we can meet in the middle and both go somewhere new. That's always a possibility. I actually went to California almost 3 years ago now. And we flew into LA, but we didn't get out. We didn't leave the airport, because our layover wasn't, the one layover sucked. But it wasn't worth getting a hotel or anything. You know what I mean? So I didn't see Southern Cali. We went up and I got to go around. Unfortunately, I got to see Oakland. that was not so awesome. But San Diego, yes and no. It was too cold for me. It was the end of June and I couldn't even go swimming. That water was so cold. Hawaii, yes. I would have to jump on a chance to go to Hawaii. That would the only thing that makes me skeptical or scared or has deterred me from, because I'm telling you, I've almost a couple times is moved to Hawaii, just on my own with my kid. I was ready to go. I knew someone that was going years back, and they got me thinking.